this is the thing about entrepreneurship, right? And I've never really openly spoken about this, but it's something I love about myself, but at the same time it comes at a cost. You have to risk everything. You cannot hold back. You cannot have a second thought. If you have a wavering belief, do not do it. I had such a belief in myself that the way I got that money was by loans, credit, whatever credit I had amassed, I put it in, thinking it's got to work out. It didn't. So what do you think happened, right? And I refused to get a job and fold. And everybody told me to get a job. What was I going to do? Go get a job? It's still not going to be enough to pay. It's only going to be enough to live. I'd rather struggle a little bit more because I have faith something's going to work out. And then when I went to apply for the visa, they sent something called a request for evidence. They want more information. So they didn't approve my visa. That request, I couldn't fulfill it. I was like, oh man, what do I do? Right? Now, put yourself, what do you do in this position?
You at a tough crossroad.
Yeah.
Oh man,
you had a very.
I'm trying to transition.
I'm sure you're down to the bottom of your money, or if you
gone
below the bottom of your money.
But you're at the
His money was down under.
His money was down.
Down under.
Yeah, like. Hold on. I want to put a pin right there though. Like the way the conviction in your voice when you say you gotta like. You got to be unwavering.
No plan B.
I'm talking about
the best analogy is when they say burn the ships.
You got to
like the general told the soldiers.
Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
He said you either gonna live by winning this war. Or we
that's
all
where you
die.
was at. You burnt the ship. You was like, I'm here.
Yeah, when I rejected that job offer for 150,000, I intentionally burnt that ship because I was like, I told the recruiter, I cannot be of two minds. I cannot have this in the background and start this business. And in the background, I have a plan B. That's not how I operate.
I really like that. You can't be of two minds. So anybody listening to this, that's why we tell people, like, a lot of times people ask us, like, should I start this business? Should I do that? If you even asking me, should you? Don't.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't. And don't do too many things at one time.
Gotcha. Yeah,
because you'll fail.
Yeah,
you will. I failed. This business is not my first. Is not my first failure.
Yeah,
I've failed before, and you have to fail to get the experience before you start to succeed.
Failure is great. That means you're trying.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like you learn from it and come back stronger. So I'm not scared of failure. I'm scared of not trying.
Now with this pendulum swing, so left side is burnt the ships. I'm ready to rock. But there's the right side of did I fuck up? You know what I'm saying? Because you as a human, you gonna have natural. Not did I fuck up, but just like I'm a little. It's a little tough.
That there to me is both one side of the pendulum.
Okay, that's both one side. All right.
Okay, one side of the pendulum is you literally have to drag your feet out of bed the day after you fail with no momentum and nothing to get you going, and just have to do the same thing that you did that you hated doing again. And you're at the bottom of your depths. You're failing, and nothing's working your way, and you questioning yourself and your behaviors and every decision you've ever made.
And then you hear everybody telling you to go do what you go get a job.
All of that sort of stuff. And the right side of it is when you feel like the fucking man and you close a deal and things go your way and you succeed and you start to see something growing. Right? And we'll get to that side of the
for sure.
We'll get to where I'm at, right?
But your visa just failed.
That's where you were at. Yeah.
You're such a short situation from swinging to the other side, right?
Yeah.
And so trying to stay balanced and kind of in the middle point when something doesn't go your way and when something does go your way is the key to getting through it. But what I personally say, so I made that decision to be in this industry, right? And I've worked corporate for 8 years. Before I started that business, I made a decision that no matter what happens, I'm going to give the next decade of my life to entrepreneurship, no matter what that looks like, right? I'll never tie to a business. My identity is not tied to a particular entity. My identity is my identity, and every entity that is created in that time is tied to my identity, right? Not the other way around. So that way, no matter how much something succeeds or not, it doesn't affect me internally because I'm not tied to it. It's tied to me, and it becomes a part of me.
That's really good because a lot of times we'll think like, oh, if my name was Rome the comedian, if I don't make it in comedy at all,
then what?
Then I'm like, oh shit, I can't.
Who am I now?
I can't do nothing. Or like football players, the name on the back of the jersey. So that's why you gotta separate yourself from it. So that's good. You gotta separate the identity.
And I think separating myself, and I give credit to 50 Cent, hustle harder, hustle smarter. It's don't let anybody put you in a bucket.
Yep.
That was a good book. I read that.
Yeah, it's such a great book, man. His experience is so valuable and the fact that he shared it was even better. But so the minute I feel like someone's putting me in a bucket, well, I'm gonna go and do something that takes me right out of that bucket.
Yeah.
Now you're looking at me confused.
Yeah.
Right. So, but back to where the failures were happening.
Gotcha.
Right. This is all one end of this. But what it taught me was, damn, I'm a tough motherfucker. Like, oh, you can't really break me because I'll keep coming back and back, and I will not give up until I get a divine sign. That's how I operate.
Yeah.
No matter what logical or strategic decisions there are to make, I'll operate on what my intuition ultimately tells me, and that has also consequences of actions.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
But so what happened was, I didn't qualify for the visa in time. I had to leave here in September and go back to Australia.
Of 2020.
2020, yeah.
Okay.
And so now keep in mind, Uplift Management has been a part-time business that I've had since 2018. But I didn't have a website. It was only word of mouth. Unless you knew me, I wasn't going to manage you because I didn't have time for that. I was working this corporate job and I was working. So I just was managing the boys. Omar, Duke, I was Chanel at the time, like a couple of other people. And I was good at it. And I was good at it because I realized that I'm good with people, right? I'm good with athletes because I also train. And I have corporate experience. So I know how to work with these corporate America, right? And so what happened is, I had a unique skill set that nobody else had. Nobody else has, right? So I was, and at the time I didn't really know this. I'm blind to all of this. So I'm focused on this other thing. And I think an important thing to note too is I started an insurance business at the time because it felt like the logical next step in my career, and the money was good. But it's an old man's game. And I figured maybe I could be different because I'm a young man playing an old man's game. This may appeal to younger people. But later I found out that it's not. They want the old man in insurance. They don't want the young guy looking like me.
Get your young ass out of
talking
here.
about health insurance.
Yeah.
So it was really hard the barrier to entry was hard. And when I really peeled back all the layers of the onion, money was one of my biggest drivers, more than loving health insurance. And even though I loved helping people with their health insurance, I didn't see an immediate gratification for it.
Yeah, it wasn't no fire. It
wasn't like that.
Yeah.
And that's important to have that that passion for it.
Yeah.
Because when you get to these low points, that's what's going to keep you going.
Yeah.
If you're just doing it for money, when you get to this low point, you're going to quit.
Yeah. So it didn't work, and I can see now why it didn't work. And I would not do it again. So two things I would not do again is A, take out loans or credit cards to start any business, because even with unwavering faith, it may not work. And B, I wouldn't do something that I don't love. Nah. Like, I'd rather work a job that I don't fully love than start a business that I don't fully love.
Okay, so when you start a business, you work 10 times harder.
And you're not getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
You're not. And so I left. I get to Australia.
Yeah.
And this is where life kind of just happens sometimes. I'm in this quarantine for 2 weeks. When you get to Australia, you have to quarantine in a hotel room.
Yeah. A lot of time to think.
Yeah, a lot of time, man. I got out of it, and I was staying with my brother, and within about 2 weeks of staying with my brother, like a family situation erupted, and I had to really jump in and handle and mediate a lot of things. That took my full attention. So I'm sitting here in Australia. I'm not in America. I have a business that's failed and failing. The time zones are so different. I got to wake up at 3 a.m. to deal with bullshit, right? I've defaulted on debts now. My life's at a low point.
Yeah.
It's like it's as low. And this is the thing they don't tell you about entrepreneurship is there's no bottom.
Oh yeah.
I
think Jelon said it on one of the episodes. He said there's no ceiling, there's no floor either.
There's no floor.
There's no.
It goes.
And no one's coming to save you.
It's like
That's
the video games.
No one's coming to save you. You got to pick yourself up.
It's like the video games when you just keep falling. And
yeah.
Fuck that. Falling. Stop.
It's a pit, man. Yeah. And it's really important that you don't focus on it.
Yeah.
I never once focused on it. When I focus on it, I get in a rut and I cannot be at my best self. Mm-hmm. I focus on how the fuck am I going to get myself out of this? Mm-hmm. What is the next step to take forward? Mm-hmm. Right? So in that time, all of a sudden, right, this is all failing. I surrendered. I was like, I don't even know what to do right now. I don't know how I'm getting back to them. I don't know nothing. And I signed 2 new clients for Uplift Management. And I guess what happened at the tail end of 2020 is a lot of businesses realized that they need to start pouring their marketing budget in social media and into influencer marketing. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, things just started picking up there. And I was like, okay. In Australia yeah. for Uplift Management here.
Oh, okay.
Everybody was here.
Yeah.
And I was waking up early at 3 a.m. to do the management business now.
Yeah.
And I came to a crossroads because I almost had my first client in health insurance, and he treated me really badly one day, and that was enough for me to be like, I don't want you as my client. I'm actually not going to pursue this anymore. Why would I do that when I have all of these people that love me and love what I do, and you're here treating me like this? That was my sign. And then I hit another crossroads where I was like, all right, cool, this is all happening now. What do I need to do to make this business grow? And this is where, as an entrepreneur, it's not fun when you eat last, but you have to eat last. Rather than start putting money in my pocket, right, and sorting out myself, I knew that in order to grow this business, I needed someone who can do something that I can't do. So I hired an employee, and I put all of the money that I was making for the business right back into it. Why? To service all my clients better. Let me get somebody here who's working their hours, make sure everybody's good, and I can handle and grow it by building more relationships.
I like what you said. As an entrepreneur, you got to eat last.
You have to eat last.
That's some real shit.
Yeah.
Because like I think a lot of people think, you know, if you say you make $100,000 that month, that don't mean you made $100,000 that month. You might have made $500.
Yeah, 5,000 out of that. To be honest,
maybe,
and it's going other places.
If you're an entrepreneur and you start a business and you think that you're going to pay yourself a salary in the first few years, then your business is going to stay whatever size it is right now.
Yeah,
because it needs that money and you need to eat less, and it's very tough. It's really like one of the hardest things to be. Living in cities like LA and Miami and having a business that's starting and not having the money to do things and seeing everybody else, right? But it's, again, about like running your own race.
Yeah.
And I understand that these sacrifices I'm making now in 3 to 4 years will pay off, or 5 years.
Long game,
right?